What's up, friends? Really stoked about this quick video. I'm with Victor Gonzalez, who is the head of marketing at Sportsman Boats, and we are on top of one of the top selling bay boats in the country right now, the Masters 247, 24-footer, right? Yep. Bay boats have blown up. Why have bay? 100%. What's the deal with bay boats? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, from a market perspective, the bay boat sort of has the cultivation of going offshore, because you can go near shore on a perfect day.
Right.
It's very nice, low gunnels. It's great for the family. We got tons of seating that go all the way around. It's a great sandbar boat because it's not as tall.
Gotta love them sandbars, man.
So this is the type of boat where you go out fishing in the morning, go to the sandbar in the afternoon, come back home, quick rinse, not a ton of cushions in it. Pretty simple boats. And off you go, back to the trailer.
Yeah, like a serious hybrid of sorts, And so what are some of the most popular areas that you would see in the U.S. where you see bay boats just really taking off?
I mean, Florida, obviously it's a big area. Then on the larger bay boats, like the Chesapeake Bay area, 26 is popular there, even though
I mean, living on the Chesapeake myself, I feel like everywhere I look, there's a Sportsman boat, man. I mean, it's crazy. It's really, really wild. Okay.
So yeah, the bay boat is just that type of boat. It's simple, low gunnels, families love them, they run great. And overall, it's just a great package for those that like fishing, but also like to enjoy a boat at the sandbar.
All right, good, cool. So let's break down this particular model, the 247. We're going to start at the bow here. So break it down for us, Victor, if you would. So
in a traditional bay boat, obviously this bow area here is what we call the bow casting platform.
Yes, and critical for those, as the professor would say, speckled trout. We're thinking about you, professor. All right.
So you're up here, figure you've got your trolling motor up there, and this is your area. This is your fight zone. Here you are looking for fish, you know, putting this bow into the grass and doing all the things that you would do. But what we've done with this area is we've maximized the space. So you've got your anchor locker in here, you've got a large fish box in the center, then you've got a step box storage box, and then you've got rod storage on both sides. So you can fit up to 10 rods right in here.
10 rods on here.
5 on each side.
Tons of storage, which by the way, it just rained its tail off here in South Carolina. So that's why everything is so wet and we're gonna be a little bit messy. Work with us, you understand. Okay, let's keep going.
So what you could do here for the family is turn this into a sun pad.
Okay,
It's a perfect area. Figure if you're at the sandbar, even if you know, whichever way you anchor, if you beach the boat or if you went from the stern, this is just a great area. So moving aft from there, obviously we have our head area as well as our console, and this is what we call our new Sportsman design language.
Okay.
You know, the D-tubing with the integrated glass structure on here. The glass, of course, adds protection to the driver. It just starts raining or anything like that. And if you need a little bit of air, you can open up the vent.
Love that, gasketed, seal tight. All right, because frustrating when it's not.
Okay. We've got an additional live well up here. We do have some live wells out back.
Wow.
Of course, our
you got 2 in the back, you got another up here, it's amazing.
But figure, this is your fighting area. You're gonna want a live well nearby.
Closer, I hadn't thought about that. So it makes a lot of sense.
And then we have a rear deck area and it's got its own live wells back there. Now on this side here, you see our new iconic glass here at the bottom. And you see this from our 35 and up. And again, this is part of what we call the Sportsman design language. It's that iconic glass. And of course it gets bigger in our bigger boats. But what it does is it adds tons of light inside that console. So even when you're in there, it doesn't feel like it's a dark dungeon place. You've got sunlight coming in.
The glass in the consoles on Sportsman are just, I gotta say, they really stinking look good. They really, really look good. All right,
now
keep
moving
moving
here. Yeah, one of the things that you know we pride ourselves with is having feature-rich boats, and then over time we found that to be the winning formula for us. And that kind of that trend started with electronics, right? At some point, we added standard electronics before anybody else did, and we've taken that to the next level every year. And at this point, what you're looking at here is the standard dash for this boat. So standard because of the 12-inch Garmin. You've got your Fusion head unit with JL audio speakers. You've got your controls, your jack plate control and a Pro Trim tab. You've got tilt wheel.
Oh wow!
Indicators on the trim tab.
I like that tilt wheel.
You know, things like indicators on the trim tab we found over time are still options, in manufacture. So what we're looking for is a boat delivered to the customer that we've thought of everything, and all they need to do is get on their boat and enjoy it. So oversized hardtop over the top with additional speakers. Grab handle here. You know, as you go with the D tubing, it's a much beefier tube, so it's nice to have.
Right.
This is much comfortable than even this round pipe.
Yeah.
You know, so just product testing has led us to these types of innovations in our tops. We do have some storage underneath.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a great place too for things like a fire extinguisher, your wallet, you know, things like that for down there. And then of course the captain's chair. So this is what we call our dual chair leaning post.
Yeah.
So you can flip that down. The nice thing here is the passenger can be sitting down, the driver can be standing up. You know, so you have the option of having both.
That's nice, because it's frustrating if you can't do one or the other. And you've got, nice thing too is when you sit in it, you've got this, essentially this footrest that you can brace yourself against.
That's right.
Which is frustrating when that doesn't exist.
And we actually, funny you mentioned that, we went through a lot of research on the height of that step.
Yeah.
And what we found was the height that step is at is good for when you're sitting down and when you're leaning up against the bolster. So we had to find the happy medium. You didn't want it to be too low, because that's better for when you're standing, but then it's uncomfortable when you're sitting down.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to do the reverse of that.
Right.
We've gone to the great length of figuring out what's the right height of the foot.
That's slick.
Area of the boat.
Really smart. So as long as you're not Shaquille O'Neal, you're gonna be good to go, Jack. We're finally in the stern area.
Yep.
What are we looking at, man?
Well, one of the most innovative things that we've done in this model, and this is a newer model for us from 2022, is aquarium live wells.
Love the aquarium live wells, dude.
On a bay boat.
This is great. On a bay boat.
Yep.
There's something, I don't know. I think just like the kids would probably sit there and look at it all day long, right? But yeah, it's just still, I love it. I love it, and you can gauge how your bait's doing, which is important.
Yeah, and that's the real, they do have purpose. Of course,
right.
It's beautiful and all that, but they do have purpose. I mean, you're up there driving the boat, you want to check on your bait real quick, you just look back.
Right.
You can see right in that box, make sure everybody's good in there.
Yeah.
You know, but on a bay boat, you know, that was sort of the big thing, and we had to go back to the drawing board. We do it a little bit different than we do in our bigger boats, because of course it's a smaller boat.
Yeah.
You just don't have as much room to make things happen. And connecting that box on the internals had some challenges, you know, but what we've come up with, we feel, is an absolute game changer here in the rear area of a bay boat. And then on top of that, we do have a two-person seat here. And one thing that we pride ourselves in, and Tommy will talk about this, is one of the goals of Sportsman was to have great bilge access. How many boats do you have that have a pipe plate?
It's the most frustrating thing I've ever seen as a boat owner. When you cannot get to the bilge area and your bilge pump goes out, or something else in that area goes out, and you feel like you're basically performing surgery just to get to it.
You gotta be a gymnast to be able to change a bilge pump on 90% of the boats on the market.
And it's inexcusable.
It's just what it is.
Yeah.
So what we've done here is we've developed what we call our total access hatch.
Oh my goodness, total access! I like it!
So total access, you can basically step into this compartment here. You can touch that bilge pump.
I can go in here right now, may I?
Please.
And can touch the bilge, and this comes right out.
That comes out, yep.
So it's like I can easily access everything in there.
Yep.
Glory, glory, hallelujah. That's all we want. That's all. I mean, why? Why is that hard, manufacturers?
So we've
easy access, y'all. Okay. Yeah.
So in addition to that, we did want to build some storage in there. So we do have two 5-gallon bucket recesses right where your foot is, and
oh yeah,
you know,
you've got like you can see the bucket's meant to go there. That's slick. So we could use that for trash. We could, I mean, use it for a variety of things if we wanted to.
You could use that. You could use it as a trash. You could use it for even a stern anchor if you had an additional anchor. And anything that you put in a 5-gallon bucket, it's easy to get in and out of a compartment. So
yes.
And you can, you know, this area here does tend to get a little wet, so we don't recommend you put anything in there that can't get.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of things on the boat that you can use that space for. And when it comes to changing a bilge pump, it becomes a 10-minute job. It's a very simple, straightforward process.
So smart. So smart.
So here in the rear deck area, as we go ahead and lower this seat down, we do get our flat rear deck area. Again, another traditional aspect of a bay boat.
Yeah.
Because you can have another angle.
Two platforms for fishing.
Yep.
Or playing, or jumping off.
Yep. This is a great area for the kids to jump off of if you're at the sandbar.
Yeah.
You know, if you beach the boat, it's a great area to just jump out back. And again, we do actually offer even a ski tow bar for this area here. So if you want to do some tubing and things like that, make it even more family friendly, those options are available.
Checks a lot of the boxes.
It does. I think it's easy to see all this innovation, why it has led this boat to be where it is on the market.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, to your point, like why it's crushing. Let's talk about power for a second, shall we? What are our options?
Yep.
And give us some of those stats that everybody likes to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is, with a 300, is more or less a 50-mile-an-hour boat.
Yeah.
Plenty of speed for that. It does come standard with a 6-inch setback jack plate. So that is one of those things that we did with this design. If you take a look, there is no real splash well. Not in the traditional sense, right? This is what we call an infinity splash well.
Okay.
So it doesn't have that return that typically comes back. Because what we did was we moved the whole rear area 6 inches back with the jack plate to give you more room behind the lead.
Okay, all right, so the jack plate, essentially a device that takes it off of the transom.
Correct.
Giving you the ability to have just more flexibility with what the engine does.
Well, what it does is, engine trim changes the angle of the prop as
Right.
it goes up and down. The jack plate is vertical. So it allows you to keep your engine trim the same, but still trim the engine out of the water for really, really shallow water conditions. It's a popular thing to have on bay boats,
Yeah.
but making it standard allowed us to design around it and then give you 6 inches more in the cockpit. So
Yeah.
this boat used to be 6 inches smaller right behind the leaning post, and it doesn't sound like a lot.
Right.
When you're walking, it allows you to walk right behind this leaning post with plenty of space. Even
Yeah.
if you had a rod, maybe you had some bags that you're loading in and out of the boat, this is the type of little things that we can do by adding more features to the boat as opposed to a bare bones boat.
Sure.
That we can design around.
So 50 miles an hour.
Yes, sir.
Cruise speed would be roughly
In the 30s.
in the
Low
30s. Yeah, low 30s. Your miles per gallon, roughly on a boat like this, I'm gonna guess, let's see if I get it right, 1.6.
Could be better than that.
Really, 1.8.
Could be almost 2.
Almost 2. Not bad. Not bad at a 30 cruise. I mean, that's really
Depends on
solid.
how you load the boat.
Yeah, right.
Conditions, water temperature, altitude. I mean, there's so much that goes into a performance of a boat. But, the 300 was designed for, or this boat rather, was designed for a 300 platform. And so this is the absolute best power for this.
Seakeepers know on
No,
this?
Not typically.
Yeah.
You just don't have space in a
Right.
24-foot bay for a gyro.
Right,
Seakeeper.
right. So a couple final thoughts on this, Victor, and you've been awesome. And I love talking about this because I know so many of our viewers are looking at bay boats or into bay boats.
Yep.
So we've talked about some of those stats there. In terms of the overall price range,
Yep.
and you all at Sportsman are great about this because unlike a lot of manufacturers who never talk about it, you're willing to talk about it, and that's one of the reasons why we do this reviews. If you've watched our reviews before, the manufacturers that we work with tend to be the more transparent manufacturers. And so give us a range. I know you can't give us an exact, but roughly, what are you seeing most homeowners, boat owners spend on a Masters 247?
I would say, obviously, depending on options, I would say between $90,000 to $100,000 for a fully loaded.
$90,000 to $100,000, really? Wow. I mean, just everything seems so much higher these days.
Right.
I didn't know what to expect. So $90,000 to $100,000, still affordable for many people. Getting a boat, less than a house payment for that for many people. Okay, which is oftentimes atypical.
The thing about it to understand too is, just the way that we've built our standard features of the boat allow for higher resale value.
Yes.
So, ultimately, everything that gets added on the boat after the manufacturing process
Right.
is not part of the resale value of the boat. And so when you have a boat that is standard,
I hadn't thought about that. That's a good point.
standard with everything on it, you're devaluating from a much higher figure initially.
Yeah.
And that's why you see sportsmen go for a lot of money in the used boat market. A lot more money than the competitors' boats because,
Right.
again, they hold that value over time, and it's been designed in. It's not slapped in by a dealer. It is done here at the factory, as we've seen.
As we talk about miles per gallon, as we wrap this up, the tank, the gas tank, holds how much?
71 gallons.
71 gallons. So our range roughly is,
We'll say 150 mile round for the full tank.
yeah, about 150 miles.
Yep.
So to your point, when we look at who this boat is for, who it's not for,
Right.
if somebody wants to go offshore,
Yeah, that would be one of the things. If you're exclusive offshore, this would not be a good fit for you. Mostly with the range, of course, being one of them, but also this is more of a pick your days to go offshore type of haul, not a just go out there and you'll be fine. So if you want to be offshore as many days as possible and all year long, this is not a good fit for you.
Yeah, it's probably not a good fit.
Yeah.
And continuing with that fit conversation, who else would you say, and you know, this is one thing I love about, you know, you guys, Victor, at Sportsman, just so transparent and honest. I don't think enough manufacturers do this, and that's one of the reasons why these reviews are different, is because we want to talk about who it's for, who it's not for, and want to hear that from the manufacturer, which, you know, you don't oftentimes hear. Who else would you say this isn't necessarily a good fit for?
Well, there's a lot of folks that like to have that feeling inside the boat.
Yes.
Right? High freeboard, really big. Obviously, this is not a good fit for those folks. You know,
you're close to the water.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's for everybody.
It's a pro and a con, depending on the type of fishing you're doing, the type of experience you want.
That's right. So a lot of folks, they like the feeling of in the boat, not on the boat.
Yes.
This is more on the boat type of feeling with the lower freeboard, which is nice for fishing, nice for the sandbar.
Yeah.
But also, if you want to be in the boat, you're not going to get that feeling here.
That's right. And I imagine too, because of the fact that you've made this a hybrid boat, in other words, for the family experience and for the fishing experience, whenever you do that, I guess there could have been some family things you sacrificed in order to make it 100% a fishing bay boat. Is that accurate? So if somebody's saying, I want the greatest fishing bay boat in the world for an obsessive fisherman or woman, then they might find another option in the marketplace.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of the amenities for family go against the amenities for fishing. So it's always finding that right balance between where do you give and where do you take, right? Where do you give to the one aspect of the boat, and where do you take to allow that to happen, right? Because in a perfect world, the whole boat would be full of seats.
Yeah,
and then you couldn't fish.
But then you couldn't fish.
So, you know, they are unfortunately kind of counter to each other, and you got to find the right balance, the middle ground.
With that being said, I've actually seen guides using this boat before. So
got plenty of those.
Yeah, so apparently it's fitting some needs in the marketplace.
It is, because ultimately, if you want to bring clients out, you're a guide, you still want them to go out there and be comfortable.
You want to be comfortable.
You don't want them to be sitting in a 5-gallon bucket on the back of the boat, right? You want to give them a nice seat, and then we fold down that seat. You know, those are the little innovation things that we can do. Yes, we have a rear seat, but you don't lose the rear deck area. You flip down that seat.
So cool.
Yes, we have the front casting platform like a traditional bay boat, but we can put cushions on it and turn it into a sun pad. Dual purpose. That's where the hybrid family fishing boat comes in. Just
a common theme we keep hearing again and again. Well, Victor, this was super helpful. Being here at the Sportsman plant has been amazing, and I hope you, within the community, you're feeling like, wow, this is really, really helpful to me. This is an amazing company, and I can see why, again, the 247 is such a popular boat, and hopefully now you know whether or not it's the right boat for you. As always, my friends, make sure you like it, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you share it with friends, family, certainly your grandmother. Until the next time, stay salty.